Grabe itong mga magnanakaw na ito. Pumasok lang ito dito, masampal ko eh. Pero ang tatapang ng mga loob, as you will see later. Irregular and excessive disbursements, 11.9 million for letter A, installation of excess raised pavement markers not in accordance with the standard distance. Letter B, payment for accomplishment on 2 asphalt overlay projects even though it was short of 329,897 metric tons of bituminous surface concrete course. O, sabi niya, gumawa daw siya ng daan. Yun pala, tonelada, higit sa 300,000 ang kulang. Kaya, pag ulan, wala nang kalsada. Grabe naman ito nga ito. Letter C, pay items that were not turned over after completion of the projects and the provision of rental and pay items in the program of work. Letter D, overpricing of the cost of the repainting of guardrails. Baka akala nyo akin lang ito ha. Sa COA ito. This is a documented COA audit report. Hiring of 6,727 workers under the out-of-school youth serving toward economic recovery, also called Oyster Program. Bakit napunta sa worker program ang ating pera para sa kalsada? Even though there were no guidelines in determining the number of workers needed and the manner of payment gave no assurance that the number of oysters hired and expenses incurred was not excessive. From the road fund allotment of DPWH NCR, 57% of the allotment or 564.7 million was used for this employment program. Bakit napunta sa employment program ang pera na sabi ng batas ay mapunta sa pagpagawa at pagpaayos ng kalsada at ng mga labasan ng tubig? Kasi pag gusto lang sila eh. Kasi hindi nga dumadaan sa Kongreso. Various equipment acquired for LTO projects were not installed due to lack of prepared sites and buildings, 25.7 million. Na bumili na sila ng bumili, nang sabi nila gagamitin daw, yun pala, wala naman pala pa ang mga opisina o ang mga building kung saan ilalagay yung mga equipment na iyon. Installed equipment that turned out not fully operational, 70.3 million. Let's go to the 208 COA audit report. Yun lang talagang isang taon ng 208. The 208 COA audit report contains at least 19 red flags called COA observations, all of which taken together sound like a funeral dirge as follows. Para tayong kumakanta para sa patay pag lumalakad tayo papuntang sementeryo. Pakinggan nyo itong rosaryo ko. Sabi ng COA, overstatement of receivables, 160 million pesos. Unreliable year-end balances of inventory accounts, 31.6 million. Unreliable property, plant, and equipment account balances, 450 million. Puro milyon-milyon ito. Invalid MVUC charges, 76 million. Irregular issuances of gasoline to private vehicles and non-compliance with prescribed controls on fuel consumption, 0.84 million. Irregular and excessive disbursements, 12 million. Juggling of funds for national, 2 provincial roads, 10 million. Unused balances of funds in Region 1 were not remitted, 0.56 million. Warranty security was not posted for completed projects in Region 5 and 11, 57 million. Overdraft in allotment by DPWH regional offices, 1.47 billion pesos. Repeat, overdraft in allotment by DPWH regional offices, 1.47 billion. Please allow me to stop here just for a short while. As a lawyer, I can only be aghast. Even as I speak, I have trouble restraining myself from running amok at the 1.47 billion overdraft. Matino kang Pilipino, makikinig ka ng ganito. Sobra ang ginastos nila ng higit sa halos 1.5 bilyong piso. Bali, wala lang sa kanila. Basta pirma sila ng pirma. This overdraft was caused by the road board's delay in submitting the special budget to the DBM. As a result, the DBM was forced to issue NCAs, Notice of Cash Allocations, without SAROS. And consequently, DPWH issued NTAs without AAs to the regional and district offices. I can give you the meanings of these acronyms if you wish. In other words, because of lack of necessary documents, the road board incurred an overdraft in allotment of 1.47 billion pesos. Wow! Palagi na lang kami inatake sa Kongreso. Tingnan mo itong ginagawa nitong mga ito, hindi man lang sila hinalal ng tao. At walang tumitingin kung anong ginagawa nila sa pera ng gobyerno. Ano itong mga ito? Namatay at pumunta sa paradiso? In other words, because of lack of necessary documents, the road board incurred an overdraft in allotment of 1.47 billion. Mamaya, sasabihin ko sa inyo kung ano ang ginawa nila sa perang mga ito. An overdraft is strictly prohibited by the Administrative Code. And an overdraft as big as 1.47 billion defies all conceptions of the rule of law and the constitutional concept of public office as a public trust. Huwag na tayong magsasalita pa sa ating bayan tungkol sa rule of law at public office as a public trust. Meron palang mga tao dito, mga mamamayan, opisyal, mababang opisyal ng gobyerno, na kayang-kaya nila na kumuha at igastos para sa sarili nila ng halagang 1.2 bilyong piso. Nag-aaway tayo sa mga liit-liit na mga bagay, halimbawa, magkanong presyo ng gasolina, magkanong pamasahe sa jeepney o sa bus. Ito, bilyon-bilyon ang ninakaw nila. Unreconciled deposits of MVUZ collections and penalties in the national government books, 1.26 billion pesos. Repeat, unreconciled differences, 1.26 billion. This means that from 201 to 208, the road board just kept piling on the money that could not be accounted for, which has now reached the sum of 1.26 billion pesos. Taon-taon ang sasabihin ng Commission on Audit, kulang itong pera ninyo at pinag-total namin, kulang dito ang halagang ito. Sige lang sila ng sige. Hanggat ngayon ay 1.26 billion na ang kulang na pera at bali wala lang sa kanila dahil wala naman alam nilang magagawa ang COA sa kanila. Ganyan kalakas ang loob nitong mga magnanakaw na ito. Each year, there have been unreconciled differences between two books. The first book is the record of the collections and deposits reported by LTO to the road board. The second book is the certificate of deposits from the Bureau of Treasury. Ang ibig kong sabihin, bawat taon, sabi ng isang opisina, ito ang nakolekta namin na tax galing sa taong bayan. Pagkatapos, sa katapusan ng taon na iyan, sabi naman ng COA, bakit kulang ngayon ang nadeposito? Sabi ninyo itong nakolekta, pero ang nadeposito kulang. Hanggang ngayon ay 1.26 billion ang hindi nila mapaliwanag. This problem arose because of the failure of the Road Board Secretariat to require the LTO to submit copies of the remittance advice showing the actual amounts of the road tax and overlooking penalties deposited to the special funds by regional offices. The Road Board Secretariat, out of willfulness, laziness, or incompetence, mga gago sila o talagang mga magnanakaw. Wala nang pag-asa pa. Talagang ganyan lang utak nila. Simply allowed the unreconciled differences to build up over time. Thus, the Secretariat failed to discharge its duty to ensure that deposits are properly accounted for and accurately determined at any given time. Bullet, inadequate road maintenance activities in Region 4. Bullet, absence of guidelines in hiring oyster workers. Aba, nag-empleyo sila ng 7,000 tao na sabi ng batas, hindi yan ang dapat papuntahan ng ating pera. Unimplemented MVUC projects, 57 million. May mga proyekto sila pero hindi nila tinatapos. Pag nakuha na nilang kickback, wala na silang interest pa. Unfinished MVUC projects for more than 2 years, 5.7 million. LTO Motor Vehicle Inspection System project not operational. Bullet, 15 sets of smoke testing equipment procured by LTO Region 11 in October 207 were idle or not utilized, 5.58 million. Bullet, slow or delayed implementation of the DOTC Special Vehicle Pollution Control Program. Bullet, unremitted taxes withheld, 1.9 million. COA conclusions. Nag-hearing kami. Tinanong ko sa COA, sabihin nyo sa akin, dahil sa notebook ninyo ng mga statistika na ito, Ano ngayon ang masabi niyo tungkol sa road board? 1. The road tax has failed to fully achieve its objectives.